Coffee with the Queens was a concept that came out of the Digital Duchess, which is a place where we empower people, help them learn how to grow and protect your cash, your credit, your castle, and your kingdom, right? These are things that we don't talk about quite often. Usually we're left to figure it out online or with a financial professional. Quite often, as a mortgage broker, I see people that just are sort of wandering around without knowing these things. So we love to get together on Thursdays, Queens, and talk about these topics so that we can help you in your life really take control of these four pillars. The big overarching thing here is empowerment, because one thing that we know is if we don't feel empowered, if we don't feel like we can manage to take action, then none of it is going to happen, right? So your cash will be a mess, your credit will be a mess, fall through life. And we don't want you to do that. We want you to be in control and be empowered. As you'll note, a couple of our queens here really excel in this space. Sandra and Sahela are going to talk about empowerment today because it's step one. When we talk about kingdom, cash, credit, those things are pretty self-explanatory. Castle is really your home, everything about your home, how to buy a home, how to refinance. What about kingdom? What does kingdom mean to each of you?
I would say influence. The first thing that comes to my mind is influence. And I mean, in my programs, because I'm a communication and leadership coach, right? And I have a program called Unbridled Life. Life stands for something. It's an acronym for something. And the I in life stands for influence. So for me, it's influence. It is, that's the first thing that comes to mind. It means more, but for me, it is influencing the world around you in a positive way, which also means when you talk about kingdom, I think it is that ripple effect that if you create your castle well and healthy, and I'm talking relationships with money and with people, then the kingdom actually extends from the castle, right? So if you have things set at home, then that gives you the opportunity to expand, whether it's your business, the people that your business touches, the people that you employ, the people that you donate money to, because when you have the resources, you're able to give the resources. So the building of a legacy, that to me is all under kingdom.
I looked up the definition of a castle, and it was very interesting because to me, the kingdom is the moat around your castle. The difference between a castle and a palace doesn't have a defensible moat around it, okay? So I thought that was very interesting because the castle is where you put your defense around it, and that's where you build your fortress. And your fortress are all those things that we're going to talk about, because the fortress is your cash. The fortress is a mortgage that's paid off. Your fortress is your credit score that's going to get you everything that you need. And in the end, your castle with this defensible, protective moat give you the legacy that you want. And that legacy to me is memories. My castle is my kingdom because of my family and all those memories that came with those castles. But more importantly, it's leaving that legacy and putting together the right plan, which we're going to talk about also. And in the world of your digital kingdom, that means you better have a plan for things like your Gmail and your email, because those are the things that let you access your kingdom. Right. So I thought that was a really interesting definition of a castle.
Very cool.
That was my definition of the kingdom. Really that moat around my castle. My kingdom's going to leave the legacy because I put the right moat up.
I like it. So Haley, what about you?
I love that. Kingdom for me is empowerment and its strength, and knowing that you have made something for yourself and for your loved ones. And I love the legacy, and that's so true. And it's your own empire. You have grown your empire through you being so empowered. And so, that's what it is. It takes the strength, it takes the courage, it takes the guts to get everything that you've ever wanted. And once you have it, it's like, wow, this is amazing. I did it, right? Mm-hmm. So it's about your empire. It is my empire, and we don't want anybody to take that away either. So that's why we're here.
Right. And I want to say too, that we mentioned the word, Tammy right away mentioned the word empowerment. And when I explain to people it's Coffee with the Queens and we wear tiaras, I get this chuckle in response usually. And I go, well, it's a lighthearted approach, which it is. I mean, this represents empowerment. That's why we do the castle, the whole thing. That's why we do the crowns. But in reality, it is maybe a lighthearted approach in the beginning, but it's a very serious topic. I mean, this affects the abundance in your life, the quality of your life. Yeah, I
100%.
agree.
It's interesting when I talk to people each day, mortgages and where they are in their life. And more people these days have a trust, talking about that protection mode, but it takes a lot to get people there. Usually these are, people in the advanced generations, right? So young people seem to sort of fly by the seat of their pants a little bit more. They're even afraid to check credit. They don't want to check their credit because they're scared or they're not quite sure what to do. The empowerment piece is so important. Spoke to a woman who was a master sergeant in the Army. That's a pretty big deal, like over 20 years and leader. And she said, I haven't refinanced since I bought my house 18 years ago. And I said, really? Why not? And she said, because honestly, I'm afraid and I don't understand it. I don't know. And I'm afraid. So you may have empowerment in one area of your life, and yet it lacks in another, which I found really interesting. So we want to encourage you to bring your charisma to all aspects of your life.
We need to teach people how to build before they could succeed, right? So they build, they help each other out, and they collaborate, and that's what this is about. It's about collaboration and helping others succeed in their endeavors.
And I think too, we have the ability to address you wherever you are. That's why we do the exchange, and then why we have the comments and the things that are open in the chat, and we invite you, we have you register so that you can join us and chat, because we want to empower you. And a lot of times that means the thing that I battle the most for my clients is self-doubt, because self-doubt is just a human thing. It's always there. So like Tammy, you were saying, Master Sergeant certainly gives you the idea that this is a strong woman, strong willpower, physically strong is what I picture, like so much going on. And yet when it comes to that certain aspect, like the money aspect around her mortgage, she's like, that's the self-doubt creeping in. So it shows up for every human being on the planet in some way. And if it is showing up for you, is somewhere in regarding your cash, credit, castle, or kingdom, then we're here to help you get the knowledge to overcome that. And then, as you said, I think, Sohail, to be brave and actually accomplish the things that you want to do, so that you can sit back on your throne with your own tiara and go.
It's the drive. It's the ability to have people drive to their empowerment, to get that empowering possibilities. Possibilities are endless for them.
I'll point out to the collaboration that I
that's
think,
a
Kathy,
really
you mentioned, that we don't have to do it all by ourselves.
Exactly.
That the collaboration, as long as you understand, like Tammy, if that woman understood, talked to you for a little bit and said, no, you can walk her through that whole process of getting her mortgage redone so that she can actually save money and put it into a better place. Then if she knows you're going to be alongside and you're going to collaborate with her, then that gives her the understanding that things don't have to all be on her shoulders, that she has somebody to help her along with it and walk with her. And I think that's something we bring guests in to the show. Not today, this is a special show that we're doing here today for you guys, so you can kind of understand where we come from and this mindset that we're trying to kind of, relay to everybody. But we bring guests in that will collaborate with you a lot of times in certain ways and give you advice and gives you structure where you might need it and give you insight into things that you may be afraid to look at or feel like you'll never understand. And we make it so that you can understand. I think that's one of our goals, right? Right, ladies? Right, queens?
Definitely.
100%.
Tammy, you were going to add to that.
Feeling empowered can happen. There's always the self-doubt, like you said, but I think certain times in our lives, it can be stronger than other. Transition happens in life, right? We all go through something or another, whether it's health issues or marital issues. In those times that we really need to go the extra mile, push ourselves to do what we need to do in daily life to get ahead. I would like to throw it to you girls about how, what are your secrets? Sohaila, you're nonstop on social media all the time. I wonder, like, when do you sleep? So
there's actually four of her.
Like
we think there's only one. There's actually four, I think.
What is your secret to continuing to push yourself and putting yourself out there? And even when you're not feeling the best, you're going through something, what is it that you say to yourself to pull you through?
Well, mine is perseverance. If you want something done, you have to do it, and nobody else is going to do it for you. So you have to first foremost start it. Now, you could get the collaboration after, but you have to start it first and foremost. I am a professional belly dance artist. I've been dancing for 40 years. I've traveled the world dancing. The reason why I was so successful in my endeavors and my career is because I was like a horse with blinders on. All I thought about, excuse me, was dance, dance, dance. I wanted to dance the world, and I did it. So when you have that focus and that drive to succeed, you are going to make it happen. That's the bottom line, you know? What about you, Kathy?
That's an interesting question. I got into my career by default, but I was really fortunate that I got into this career by default that I absolutely loved. And I have always loved what I like to do. And I think the reason I've been successful is because I like what I do. I was actually interviewed once and asked by a magazine, and they asked me, they said, why do you think you've been successful? And my answer to them was, I'm a reader. I'm a reader. And you know, I read the statistic the other day that only 80% of the people who graduate from school never read another book in their life. Never read another book in their life. And
Wow.
I've been fortunate that I'm a reader because I think that reading is also a great way to learn. It's a great way to figure out all those things that just randomly come through your brain in terms of what you want to be.
So I want to say a couple comments. So Catherine says focus is key. Josette says consistency. I know there's a couple more. Kelly's actually, where do you find a trusted trust attorney? So we can maybe go back and check that out for sure.
That one can help.
Yeah.
I became a certified estate planner because the other thing in my life that I was very fortunate, I actually had a degree in business, which for a woman of my age was a very unusual thing. And I was the only woman in my college to actually have tax and business at that point. So I've also been really fortunate that I had some sense of financial literacy. And I think that financial literacy is the key to being successful. And it's definitely the key to being successful as things happen in your life. And to me, financial literacy, as I learned the hard way, also means legal literacy. You cannot be financially literate without being legally literate, because the fact of the matter is we also have a financial life. I mean, a legal life. And that legal life has all types of rules and regulations that I became aware of by accident. And it cost me a great deal of an inheritance. So I became committed to helping other people understand our legal life. So that's where I'm at.
Very good. And what about you, Tammy?
To drive me to keep going each day, it is definitely setting the goal and setting aside time every day for the action items we need to get to that goal. So reverse engineering it into small steps. You know, even if I'm overwhelmed or I'm not feeling well that day or I'm not feeling very empowered, I make sure to check that off my list so we never miss, you know, so we're continuing to march toward that goal. And when we reach that goal, then it's setting bigger and better ones. So important right now in the cash credit castle kingdom circle topics. People go through their transitions in life. Maybe you've had all your cash, you have this great credit, and suddenly something happens and your credit goes back to poor again, and we need to build it up. It's, you know, the fact that we need more cash at some point to help pay off whatever's on our credit. Build upon that, and then, you know, we have a castle. Maybe we need to refinance that castle, leverage that castle to be able to get our other things in order. So I think it's constantly a moving target that we have to continue to concentrate and protect each one of those pillars. It's so important. Whether you're watching this now or on the replay, engagement is so key. So everyone out there, if you're, you know, wondering about one of these pillars a little bit more than other things, or you have questions about one of these pillars, let us know, because these will be topics that we'll cover in depth for you in upcoming shows. Sandra, how do you pull yourself through every day?
Whew, wow. Well, I think as an entrepreneur, right, that tenacity has to be the thing. But what feeds that tenacity? What is the thing that's kind of, you know, comes back to the question, what do you do when you're feeling not so great? And there will be those days. I mean, I heard a magnificent speaker yesterday who had come from corporate. And if we have anybody on, you know, that's watching this that is maybe not with corporate anymore, because this has been a year of complete chaos, and there are a lot of people that have lost their jobs even when they were feeling very secure in the corporate world. So now they're looking to be an entrepreneur. And I love that she had made that transition. And she said, I got very used to, if there was an issue, just call up the tech department. Oh, wait. There is no tech department, it's like,
You are the tech department.
that is me. Well, why aren't the salespeople doing something? Oh, crap, that is me, right? So there are days for an entrepreneur when you always have that realization, like, well, I need to have the social media. Oh my gosh, that's me, right? And you will want to quit. You will absolutely want to quit. Sometimes it's like hour by hour. I'm like, that's it, I can't do this anymore. And then the thing that keeps me going is that the desire gets refueled. Now, this is one of them we talk about. We give quotes every once in a while from Napoleon Hill, and we talk about it. And desire is one of the things that he mentions that is so powerful. And for me, the desire gets reawakened when I ask myself, what if I did quit? How would that feel?
Oh, wow.
What if I just quit?
I like
And
that.
there are times, right? I did have a job outside of acting when I was doing that. And I thought, I'm going to get a real job. And I went off and I proved to myself a lot of things, that I could cry every day and clean up my mascara because I hated the job. But I also proved that I could make money doing something else. So that venture off into that other job, into that world, was really good for me. It gave me a lot of understanding of the corporate world. It gave me an understanding of myself above and beyond what I could ever have thought. It really fueled my tenacity, because at that point, the harder I worked, the more money I made. It wasn't always that way with acting, because you can work really hard, and it seems like a lot of times as an actor, you don't really have the choice as much as you do if you're in sales. You can create your own income a little bit more. So there were good things from it. On the other hand, at that point, when I said, maybe I should just quit, my insides went, oh, hell yeah, quit. And when you get that response, then you go, all right, I'm supposed to be doing something else. But when I would say, well, why don't I just quit then? And my image of me quitting leads me to an unhappy place. I picture something that is not where I want to be, that I did not make the impact in the world, that I didn't influence the leaders that I could be working with in my business, that I didn't complete what I think has been put on my heart to do. How would that feel if I just quit? And I don't like it.
Yeah.
That's refuels the desire and gets me back up and go, okay, I don't feel like doing social media today. I don't feel like making a sales call today. I feel like hanging out with my puppy and rolling in the grass in the backyard, but I am going to do that in an hour. For the next hour, I'm going to do social media. I'm going to make a couple of sales calls. You negotiate with yourself because you are all of those things if you're an entrepreneur. So no matter what your goal is, if it's a financial goal, if it's to build a business, if it's to start a charity, we're going to talk on the show, even we mentioned, we're going to bring in some nonprofits and talk about that, because the legalities of nonprofit and the influence that you can have when you build a nonprofit is incredible. So it covers many of the different pillars that we mentioned. So we'll be talking a little bit about that on the show too. But I think that's the question I asked myself. What would it feel like if you quit?
I also want to add that it's okay. You have to give yourself permission to feel that way. We're not robots, and we all go through this, right? We get that feeling of, oh my gosh, I feel tired. I'm not worthy. I just can't go on. You have to pick yourself up, and it's okay. Give yourself a few minutes to feel that. That's okay. But then you have to rise up and boost yourself up. Say, hey, that's not me. So stop that incessant little voice and let's keep moving and rocking it. So yeah.
Can I share a quick story real quick?
Yes.
It's super quick. So there was a woman that I heard speak who was made a fortune in real estate. At one point, she had a department store that she opened. I'll skip most of the story just to say that her workers didn't show up one day, and she had to open the doors to this department store. And she didn't know what she was going to do. So she hid down below one of the cash register desks and cried. She goes, I'm going to give myself, I think it was 11 minutes. And she set her watch and had a pity party for 11 minutes. And to this day, and then she jumped back up, called her mother and her, I think, ran that day, the department store. And she's like, we got through it. She said, and I still do that, only 11-minute pity party. And we're like, how funny. But she did just that. She gave herself the ability to go there. And then, time was over. You gotta do something else.
So we have lots of comments, but they're going now too fast. So I've lost a few. I know Catherine had some comments. She was agreeing with you, Kathy. It went too fast, though. I know that, oh, there's so many others here. Catherine, she said Grace. Margie, yeah, 11-minute pity party. She put that up aloud. I like that. Yeah, we're getting a lot of comments. We will definitely go back and comment on these because we are live. This is wonderful. I hope you're getting a lot of value out of this. This is what we are here for. Coffee with the Queens are here every Thursday mornings at 9:30 PST. Always ask questions. We are here live for you. And it's about the cash, the credit, the castle and your kingdom. And we're here for you to thrive. And we have so many fabulous speakers lined up. Oh my goodness. I want to say them all, but it's a surprise. But soon we'll have them actually on our website. So definitely go to coffeewiththequeens.com and keep informed and join us. Register for exclusive bonuses. And with more engagement and comments, we will also have lots of great gifts.
Hey, I have the quote. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about the Napoleon Hill quote before we head off, and we'll leave this with people?
Let's do it.
I think it fits in with what we were actually saying a little bit ago. So there is a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. No one is ready for a thing until he believes he can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief, not mere hope or wish. Open-mindedness is essential for belief. How important is it to actually believe?
I love that.
I
think I mentioned before, my father always used to say, if you think you can't, then you're right. If you think you can, then you're right.
I love
that. But there's no winning with self-doubt. If you don't believe it, you will not achieve it. And that's step one.
I played tennis when I was in high school. And so we were in leagues. And so I had this amazing tennis coach. And she would always say to us before we went out to the matches, okay, girls, she says, no matter what, I'm going to be proud of you. She says, it's okay to lose, but trust me, winning is better. And that's sort of in my brain from the time I was 16 years old, has always been in my brain. So you got to lose sometimes because that's what life is. But trust me, you win by losing. There's always a win and a loss. And that's what I always took away from that.
And what goes up must come down, and what comes down must go up too. Always remember that. And you said about the belief. In my studio, I actually have a plaque that says believe, and on the bottom, failure is not an option. Well, this has been great. Wow. Okay. Any last words on how to inspire and empower people today?
I do. I have one suggestion. If you do not have any type of motivational quote in your home anywhere, definitely get some, put them around, whether it's on your nightstand or in your office or wherever you can see it all day long. That's been a big key to me, staying a positive person my whole life since childhood, because, my dad had them around the house. So do that, implement that. And I love these little positive quote books, have them all over the place. Just people cheering you on to get through that self-doubt when it happens is so important. So that's one of my little secrets for you.
You can put something like that in front of your brain by actually getting your calendar. You know how you put the reminders on your phone for different things? 3 times a day, I have a reminder that goes off that will be a self-empowering affirmation or a quote or something. One I have just says, I am an action taker. And I'll put that up usually like mid-afternoon where I feel like just, like conking out, like I'm an action taker. I'm like, darn it, I am, right. But I hear the alarm, and because we're programmed, right, to look at our phone every time it rings, it just happens every day. 3 times a day, I have something that goes in my brain. And so it's automatic that way.
I love that. Very good.
Perfect.
Love the last words. This is so great. Well, guys, you have to keep inspired out there. And if we could help in any way, shape, or form, we are here to do so. And that's what we are here for. So would you like to take it away, Sandra?
All right, you guys, we look forward to seeing you next week. We hope that you loved every minute of it. We love being with you. And that's it, guys. We're out.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye, coffee.